Alright, so this is how to fix blurred or messed up objects in scenes when you export your depth maps. When your depth map comes out and you find that something in your source image isn't coming out in the depth map, and it's going either into the gray or the black, making the midground protrude towards the foreground, making things placed improperly. What you want to do to fix that a little bit easily in scenes is you want to go to DaVinci Resolve, you want to go to the Colors tab, and the first thing you want to do is you want to go to the Window tab here. You want to click Free Tool, and you want to outline your subject that is having issues. So in this case, it's this side profile of this person's hair. It's not coming up at all. Goes in the gray and black and flickers out, making this horrible. When you're doing masks on edges like this, it's a good practice to to come out a little bit off the edges. The reason for that is it helps the tracking. Sometimes when this edge, and this edge are too close to the sidewall subject, it doesn't want to track this edge for some reason, and it comes off the top and cuts the top off from the mask. So if you do this on edge, do that. If not, then stay a little bit off the edge of characters. So say this is your subject instead, and she's not on the edge. You want to stay a little bit off of the subject on the edges. That way the mask has an easier time tracking and doesn't cut into the image when it moves, if it is a more high tense scene. After you do this, you want to go back to the Color tab, and you want to change the hue of your object. So right now I have it set to 71. You can change the hue of it. I like 71 because it's a nice, decent, bright color. That works pretty well for this certain situation. And then after that, you click Alt S, and then it'll create a new node here. In this node, what you want to do is you want to change the hue all the way to 100 or something around those lines to change the subject. That way, this object stays colored, it's in frame, it's easier and more visible for the depth map to be produced. And then the background isn't conflicting with the foreground subject. I think the biggest issue with this subject in particular is this person's face profile and hair color matches too similarly to the color code of the brown in the background, and it thinks that this profile right here is also part of the background. So if you cut this out with this tool in the beginning, and then you go to Tracker, and you track this all the way through, so you click Track Forward and Reverse, and it'll track this clip that you cut out, and it'll track this object. Once it's fully tracked, it should take a few seconds at the most. That's when you can go in and make your new Alt-S node here, and that's when you go and play with the hue of the rest of the frame. And it should look something like this. The colors could vary between what levels of hues you decide for each part, but this is a really easy fix, and then you just export it out as the way it is, and what you'll get is these maps right here. Now, before I did it, this part right here was all either black, gray, or it came out bright white, and then immediately to the next frame flickered into the gray or the black, and it would continuously do that, which would make this midground object continuously pop out to the viewer and be completely unwatchable. Now, the entire foreground subject that was missing or being difficult is now fully in frame, it's fully tracked, and it's nice and smooth, giving no pop to the midground object. So this is an easy, fast fix for problem clips inside of your source video. You just got to go back, cut the clip out of your source, make clips for it, and then convert those clips and fill in those gaps in your regular depth map. So you just do an entire, like any V2L, and then after that video is done, look through your depth maps. If something doesn't match up to your source frame, note that, take that clip, cut it where it starts and where it ends, and then you want to work on those clips specifically using this method. It's actually really quick. It's not too intensive of a task. It's literally just outlining an object, clicking track, and then coloring it by just sliding this up to whatever number that you feel works for the frame that you're working on. So originally, the original frame looked like this, and now it looks like this. And this is what we really want here. So this is the original, this is now. sections out everything. Think of it as like hand human segment. So normally you'd have an AI that does human segmentation. This is like a physical way of doing human segmentation to help better inform the map generation. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope this helps you guys and get your maps to where they need to be with any V2L, large and V1 model large.